Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome back to Nicole Myths, Astrology and Tarot. We're doing a person one, person two energy insight type reading today. I'm using quite a few decks. This is going to be more extensive, Spirit told me. So I'm using, just to get the energy of each person, the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, the Icarus Tarot, and the Fairies Oracle. All right, so those are going to be the decks that describe each person in the reading. And then I'm using my Naked Heart Tarot and my Hermetic Tarot for insights into each person. So take it as it resonates for you. You already might have a feeling if you're person one or person two before I even pull any of the cards. Please be aware if you are new to the channel that I have no filter. I do not sugarcoat anything. Anything can come out of my mouth at any time. I have zero filter. Okay, zero filter, brutally honest reader. For those of you returning to the channel, thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. Make sure whether you are new or returning to drop a like, leave a comment, and let me know how it resonated for you. We are getting right into this, starting with person one. So let's see. Let's just put these two as a side because I already have the decks out of box. I know y'all like seeing the different decks that I use. When I was following a bunch of readers before I started my channel, I loved seeing what decks they were using, so I try to always do that. Okay, so person number one. Person number one. Spirit, please. How would you describe person number one? For those who catch this in divine time, how would you describe person number one? All right. How would you describe person number one? Okay. How would you describe person number one? That's too many. Although the top one was, where did it go? Himself. Okay. We're keeping that one. All right. So person number one, we have the 8 of water and the 4 of air, strength card in the reverse, and himself. Spirit would have me go back and keep it for a reason. So here we go. This is the descriptor of person number one. Now, the 8 of water and the 4 of swords. This person, one, may have strong Piscean placements in their chart, and they may be extremely logical and be feeling that they are in the 11th hour, so to speak. In their heart space. All right, because we do have the ticking clock here in the heart space. Always, right? I'm always here in divine time. I run on that ship. So person number one, 8 of water, 4 of swords, feeling as if they've walked away from and or killed a situation because of how much time has ticked away, and yet wanting to create something moving forward. So this person, and they may be extremely logical or smart when it comes to like puzzles or figuring things out. All right. And this person themselves might be a puzzle or an enigma or see themselves that way. All right. They might be something or someone more difficult to solve, or may feel as if you are an individual, if you are not person number one and resonate as person number two. That they feel like you are an enigma or a puzzle to be solved. This person, especially because there's angel wings behind them on this card, may be truly an earth angel here and not necessarily realize it. Okay, that the workings that they do here are in the highest good, but they may have a difficult time focusing in on that aspect of themselves and really seeing it. Like they might know they do good, but because they're so analytical, they may have difficulty seeing it. Okay, especially because like the glasses on the card that he's wearing, he doesn't need them. Mind you, the energy on all four of these cards is masculine. Right, we have a masculine here, we have a masculine here, and we have a masculine here, and we have a masculine inside the strength card there. All right, so this is definitely someone who resonates masculine if they are not actually male, okay? Or resonate as male. This might be also someone who wants to have his options open, but also feels as if he has his hands tied. Because if you look at these two pictures, one is open, palms open, and the other is palms or hands behind the back. So one might, a part of this person, especially if they do have strong Piscean placements and they're dealing with that duality, right? Rectifying or reconciling that duality. They might really want to be open, creatively open, because the hands with the chakras in there, the hands are an extension of the throat chakra, right? Because if we put our arms out side to side and then fold them in, they literally land at the throat. So our hands are creative centers, are extensions of our throat chakra. This is probably someone who wants to talk. Probably someone who knows they have to do something, like they're the ones that have to do it, like create it with their hands, make it happen. But someone who also feels as if their hands are tied with logic and reason, right? Thinking that maybe they really did kill it and just need to move on. With the strength card being in reverse, this is a whole lot of ego and a whole lot of pride, right? Because they're wearing the lion suit, but it's in shadow with the reversal flying out this way. Someone with a whole lot of pride, whole lot of ego, who may have a very difficult time accepting when they've made mistakes, especially if they do feel like they calculate everything down to a T and they're rarely wrong, right? This is someone who actually may have made an error, whether it's small or large. I feel like the outcome was huge, hugely changing, okay? Himself is a card of highest masculine energy. It's highest masculine energy. Let me read to you, it's card number 17, some of what himself is in its power, right? In its power. Himself, when himself appears in a card spread, he is not only indicates that a great amount of energy is present in the reading, but he also strongly energizes the cards around him. Everything he touches becomes more of whatever it is. This person is very intense, right? If this is a magnifying card, the logical or analytical aspect is magnified. The Piscean or dualistic push and pull in two directions, wanting to create and thinking they need to walk away is magnified. The ego and the pride would be magnified, right? It could also be a lust card. So this might be someone who really has a hard time taming their more primal sexual aspects and doesn't necessarily understand why the fuck they're wrong and not having control over it, right? If this person is seriously intense, with all of their energies, right? They're an intense person. This card in a reading can indicate great vitality, victory or triumph, confidence and power. There is leadership and an ability to command, steadfastness and an integrity that the self holds themselves to. Wild power held and channeled for the good of all by will. Himself speaks of protection, either of the querent or of someone the querent owes protection to. Acceptance of paternal responsibility is important, as are deep and committed relationships. He is the perseverer of the natural world and is balanced. So this is the type of person, I feel like person number one, when they overcome these other aspects of themselves, has the potential to be. All right, because this person is very much in control of their reality and super protective of not only their children or youth in general, but of the connections that they hold dear and the people that they love, right? So this person on some level might want to move forward, feels like they killed it, has a lot of pride and ego that needs to be overridden when it comes to whoever person number two is. We'll get there later in the reading, but they probably feel a strong pull to protect, to love and protect and commit to person number two, and these types of energies are in the way. All right, these types of energies are probably in the way. We've got Piscean energy, we've got Geminian energy, and we've got Leo energy. All right, whatever is going on in their chart with those aspects. They might have serious squares between their Pisces and Geminian placements, only because they're both mutable signs, which are natural squares in any chart. So they might have serious issues between their intuitive mind, their spiritual mind, those faculties of their being, and their logical analytical aspects that might seriously be at war with each other. And it comes out possibly as ego and or pride that overrides their Leo energy, right? Especially if it's fixed and they have strong placements there. Himself, let me get back into the book. I need to shut it. Himself is someone with a great deal of shamanic power, as well as potential for powerful spiritual healing. This card may speak of erotic energy, passion, and potent creativity. So again, that magnified sexual energy. When this person is out of balance or upside down, they feel blocked, limp, enervated, drained. They may be dealing with depression, either physical or emotional. Energy may be locked into obsessions and may swing from blocked to out of control. They may feel twisted in their life force energy, and their strength and or their authority may be being misused as arrogant or aggressiveness and or violence towards others. When this card is in its shadow, be careful and pray for consideration. It needs to be given to the energy of how it can be rechanneled into its natural creative and protective mode. At worst, this energy becomes a force of war, oppression, and domination. The very worst is when brutality or twisted sexuality is turned on the very persons this energy should be protecting. They have a great potential for good, but also a great potential for destruction. Volcanic releases can occur. So this person, when they are in fact out of alignment, they may take their aggression out in sexual ways. Those sexual ways may not be the most acceptable or the most nice to experience for whoever is the target of those aggressions. And it is definitely either aimed at the person that they should be protecting, or in distraction from the person they should be protecting, and in partaking in those energies, partaking in those shadows would indefinitely keep them from connecting with whoever they are being pulled spiritually to connect with, where the mind and the ego and the pride and the sexual lust is getting in the way of the actual temperament that they should be embodying. Okay, let's get some more insight into person number one. I think I'm going to start with the Hermetic Tarot and clarify with the Naked Heart Tarot. All right. So Spirit, give me some insight into what is going on in person number one's world right now. We got their energy. Give us some insight into what is going on in their world right now, their reality, right? The things that are immediately pertaining to them, the people they are currently involved with, the environments they're currently in, what is going on in their reality. Okay, so Princess of Pentacles in reverse. They're definitely not seizing any opportunities. Eight of Cups again. That's the Eight of Water. Seven of Wands in the reverse. Ace of Swords, Four of Pentacles, High Priestess, Wheel of Fortune. Princess of Cups on the bottom. This person knows they need to apologize. Five of Wands, in which they're internally conflicted. Again, that Leo lion energy. The Five of Wands is an internal conflict. That's like an ego versus ego thing, where they don't want another person to be right. They don't want to allow someone else to be right. They owe an apology, especially if they were drinking and it's their wish fulfillment. We've got multiple overflowing cup cards. And this person is definitely torn, do I or don't I? And again, Piscean energy is present. Addictions are definitely present that need to be alchemized, especially sexual addictions. That's underlying issues, sexual addictions, and possibly a drinking problem. They think that happiness is a material thing, and that is not the case. They think the more items they have, or the more money they make, or the more money they could spend. There's something about the Lord of material happiness here with blended pleasure. This person's really attached to their earthly things, and they don't understand. I don't think they understand their Piscean energy. Because if they're drinking a lot, like let's just say they're drinking a lot, they do not understand their Piscean energy. It's in shadow, because Pisces in shadow will drink to escape. Again, with the Eight of Cups here, it's another Pisces card, like Jupiter, Pisces, Saturn, Pisces energy with these different cards coming out. Lots of Pisces energy. They could be Pisces moon, Pisces nodes, right? South node or north node. They could have Pisces Jupiter. They could have Pisces Chiron. I mean, they could have Pisces Saturn. They could have Pisces anything major in Pisces. Pisces Mercury, Pisces sun sign, Pisces rising, Pisces 7th house, Pisces midhaven. They could have a reputation for this kind of shit. Princess of Pentacles in the reverse with the Eight of Cups and the Seven of Wands in reverse. This is the Princess of the Echoing Hills. This person is not seeing the patterns, right? How they miss opportunities to better themselves, not just in the reality, but spiritually. They're not seeing the echo. They're not seeing the pattern. This is the Lord of Abandoned Success, which I think the pattern is they sabotage, right? They self-sabotage. And the Lord of Valor in reverse, this person doesn't actually have a leg to stand on with their behavior. This person doesn't actually have a leg to stand on. They know they can't defend their behavior. Their behavior or their choices was fucking uncalled for. The Ace of Swords is here with the Truth. This is the root of the powers of air. The Four of Pentacles is here, earthly power. The Priestess of the Star, which is the High Priestess, and the Wheel of Fortune, which is the Lord of the Forces of Life. Again, Piscean energy with the High Priestess, Mage, and Jupiter energy. So there's something going on, especially if Jupiter is moving back into Pisces, which it will. It's retrograding back towards Pisces now. That might be the clock. That might be the ticking clock that the person is feeling in their chest. Like they only have so much time before this opportunity is truly past. Because the planets don't stop moving. You know, the cosmic time, divine alignment doesn't stop moving. There's deadlines to meet certain soul lessons. There's deadlines to take certain spiritually aligned actions in favor of your highest good and bettering your karma before the universe flips you into another lesson cycle, right? A repeating echo or another opportunity to fix something with a whole new set of people or a whole new set of circumstances. So something to do with Jupiter and Pisces might definitely, and even Saturn moving into Pisces, this person might be going through what is essentially, because Jupiter and Pisces is going to hit before Saturn does. So they have like one more chance because Jupiter is a blessing, right? They have like one more opportunity to really do the soul growth and the spiritual growth. Hey. Before Saturn hits Pisces, which is going to be essentially the divine order or the dealer of karma, right? With whatever has not been learned or reconciled within the self as far as whatever this behavior is. This person has multiple addictions, both escapism, whether it's substance or alcohol, or sexual addictions, okay? Sex addictions, or what is essentially toxic masculine behavior. And when I say masculine, I'm not saying toxic male. I'm saying toxic masculine because females have masculine energy within the self too, and they could be the same. They could have the same energy, okay? Which might be the kind of people that this person typically lasts a longer time with because they're both toxic. Anybody in alignment is not going to stay aligned with this person. Any decent, respectable person is not going to stay with person number one. I think this person knows their intuition is pulling them, their spirit is pulling them to grow, pulling them to evolve, pulling them to elevate their energy, pulling them to get them out of these cycles of what is essentially sexual or lusting, abuse, or toxic behavior, and pulling them or pushing them, guiding them to get away from their addictions, whatever their addictions are. They're asking them intuitively to change your fate, right? Change your fate. Please choose to change your fate. Spirit is giving this person a chance, and they could feel that time ticking in their chest before they've reached a point of what is essentially no return with the double 8 of cups here. The double 8s of water. They're going to reach a point of no return with this connection with person number 2. They have to be able to get their valor back in check, which means if they have made mistakes, they need to own up to those mistakes and then correct those mistakes by not repeating those mistakes. You know what I mean? It's like, as an example, if someone was in a relationship with someone else and cheated on them, and then they lost the person that they cheated on, and the person they cheated on was a really good fucking person that they regret losing. It's like, okay, not only do you have to make good and on being honest and being truthful about everything that you've done as far as the cheating goes, like full disclosure, full transparency, but then you have to truly promise not just the person, but yourself, that you will never go back to being that version, because that version of yourself is low and you're disgusted by that version, right? What that version created was the loss of fill in the blank, right? That version of self that was lost in the addictions or the toxic sexual behavior lost fill in the blank. And that's not acceptable, right? To go through that kind of self-created loss, being in shadow, is not acceptable. This person is spiritually aligned in their light to protect whoever person number 2 ends up being. They're spiritually aligned to protect this person. And there's only so much time they have to make good on that soul contract before spirit has to move on, because essentially person number 2 still needs to be protected. If person number 1 is not going to elevate and evolve, and person number 1 still has this contract to themselves, right, to elevate out of whatever this state is. It definitely starts with an apology and getting over their ego to do that. Clarifying energies, please, for person number 1. Clarifying energies, please, for person number 1. There's that Gemini energy again, movement of cups. This person may have been extremely manipulative with the Magician in the reverse. This is someone who would probably talk person number 2 and or anybody, if it's just a character behavior, in circles, trying to manipulate an outcome in their favor, right? Especially if they are overly logical, trying to get things to turn out a certain way, which if you followed me for any period of time, you know, any kind of manipulation or trying to get a specific result is like a spiritual no-no. It's not in flow. Movement of cups means there's, in the reverse, is a refusal to communicate emotions properly. This is someone who either refuses to apologize, refuses to express gratitude, or someone who is emotionally unstable in their expression of emotions, right? So this person may be a blubbering mess 1 minute, an angry mess the next minute, completely go silent the next minute, right? Their emotions do not get communicated in a stable way. They're erratic. All right. Yeah, 7 of Swords on the bottom. This person lies to other people because they lie to themselves, and it's this manipulation bound. All right, these are both Geminian cards. Okay, so whatever their Geminian energy is, it is coming through pretty fucking strong, along with this Piscean energy, which, to be fair, if you're person number 1, that's where your work is. These are the houses you have to work on, right? Whatever houses that they rule in your chart. Yeah, the Strength card is on the top of the deck. This is where you really have to find your angelic light. It's not about being in the reverse, right? It's not about pride or ego or sex and lust or addiction and being stubborn in it. It's about elevating and transforming yourself into what this energy and its light really is, right? With the wings on each character twice over, having huge potential, right? This person has a huge amount. Huge doesn't even seem like the word, to be completely fair. Huge doesn't feel like it's a big enough word to describe this person's potential, and what their healing brings when they allow their heart to truly commit and or be open to whoever, whatever person, you know, person number 2 is. So let me flip these reversals back up right. So if this is person number 1, who's person number 2? Who is person number 2? Spirit, please. Where's my pen? Timestamp. 30 minutes. Person number 2. Spirit, please. How would you describe the energy of person number 2? How would you describe the energy of person number 2? That makes a lot of sense. The crone. The crone is the high feminine energy in this deck. There is no higher feminine. The crone is magical, wise, right? Not only is she wise, she is wisdom applied. Okay, when the crone came up in a recent reading that I did, and the crone's energy is a different kind of magnifier, right? The crone will look at someone's karma. It's almost like she works in cahoots with Saturn and Jupiter. Like if Jupiter and Saturn were to have a baby, the crone's energy is kind of like that. She's a magnifier in the highest good, but she's a karma dealer, and whatever the karma is, she accelerates it. So if let's just say the lesson would have been long and painful and drawn out, the crone will intensify it, magnify it in order to shorten the time. So she can take a 20-year or a 50-year lesson or a multiple lifetime lesson and kind of condense it and shrink its energy, but it's amplified, right? We're talking about super condensed energy. And the same thing goes if they're in alignment, like blessings. Like let's just say the crone is involved with an individual and their blessings are great, and those blessings wouldn't even manifest for 20 years or 50 years or a couple lifetimes, right? The crone can actually condense that energy to where the blessings become really huge in a short amount of time and cash in on those blessings. What is essentially almost immediately, right? The crone's energy is one that bends time, space, reality in an effort to work with the alignment of whatever your energy is. Okay, so the crone is a powerful feminine energy that obviously person number 1 misaligned themselves from. And they're of high order. What else, Spirit, please? How else would you describe this person? Is person number 2's lover. This is their mirror. This is their mirror. The bone structure of their dynamic, person number 1 and person number 2. Person number 2 is a mirror for person number 1 and probably the world around them. They are a mirror, okay? They are not in the mirror. They are the mirror, which means this person has elevated, right? We've got double sixes now. We've got double sixes now. This person has elevated beyond what is essentially the mirror work that everybody typically goes through in the healing process and is simply the mirror. All right, they are simply the mirror. They are beyond mirror lessons, okay, to where they have become the mirror. Spirit, please, how would you describe person number 2? This person, like literally, they make you choose which path. This person is like a crossroads. It's like, okay, which path are you choosing? High or low? Light or shadow? What are you choosing? Blessings or blessings in disguise, right? Because the lovers, before it was the lovers, was the choice card. This person is the epitome of choose your path, crossroad energy. Spirit, how would you describe person number 2? Undressing of a salad. Undressing of a salad. Card number 31. I'm just going to read. It'll make sense. Undressing of a salad. Undressing of a salad. Keywords are balance, avoiding extremes, achieving the impossible, and being impossible. Okay? Now, we talked about how intense and extreme person number 1 was. This person is not the same. This person is not the same. This person avoids extremes. They achieve the impossible, and they are, in fact, what is impossible. Person number 2 is not technically supposed to exist, okay? Things are in motion and the outcome is impossible to predict. A cool head is required to deal with this, and as is a readiness to jump in whatever direction seems appropriate. Exercising cool judgment while staying ready for the unpredictable. Sudden changes of fortune appear, good or bad, but they are in flux and rechanneled as necessary. They develop poise and stay calm. They come out the winner here, but it is likely to take concentrated effort. They use their power with delicacy and discretion. There are times when we have to turn bad luck into good, and that isn't always easy, especially if someone else seems determined to turn good luck into bad. Everything is integrating and disintegrating at the same time. The whole universe is hurtling through time at an astonishing rate, and it is very difficult to keep balance on a rapidly moving object, especially as it appears to lurch unpredictably from time to time. So this person, the undressing of a salad, they juggle life and they move quickly. Okay, this person's energy is just as big as person number 1, but in a completely different way. Okay. This person can take what is essentially unbalanced and take it apart so that it can get put back together correctly. Okay, this is like someone, it's kind of like a mechanic who knows that the car is busted and needs to take the entire car apart to put it all back together correctly. It's kind of what person number 2 does. They are very calm, and things do work out in their favor. No matter how fast life shifts around them, good or bad or indifferent, it almost always works out in this person's favor. They could be seen as extremely lucky. They can be seen as extremely lucky, but it's not luck, it's their energy. Their energy is balanced and in flux and flow, where person number 1 was very resistant, right? Very controlling of the reality, very aggressive. Person number 2 is more in flux and flow with the pathways. This person is unfazed. So much so that even in their dealings with person number 1, if the crone matured during their experience when they were together, because I don't feel like these people are together right now. They're energetically way too different to be in the same reality. I feel as if this person really morphed into someone who was emotionally unfazed. I feel like this person has become very essentially stoic because the crone is unexpressive. Obviously, the skulls are unexpressive, as are all of the figures in this card. When it comes to dealing with other people in the world, this person number 2 is no longer phased. As far as they're concerned, they're just a mirror for everybody else's energy. They're just a mirror. They're not here to because there's no elevation beyond the crone in this tarot. There's no higher card than the crone as far as feminine energy goes. This person's, it's not like a queen going mirror, mirror on the wall, tell me XYZ. Like, the crone is the person in the mirror speaking the truth. And it's only reflecting back to you what you're seeing. And what you're getting reflected back to you, right, from this person, whatever their communication is or lack of communication. Because if the crone, for person number one, if the crone is not speaking to them or is not reaching out to them, the mirror would be you're not communicating with yourself or being open with yourself, right? That you are resisting communicating between you and you. So there's a very especially because this card is like rolling around all the spheres, this person might understand how to utilize things like astrology, understand their own chart, right? And know what things are either working in their favor or against them, to where they themselves are in fact protected in their own right, right? Because of this halo going on around the Lover's card. Everybody who would stab them in the back is on the outside, but they themselves are protected. I don't think this person can actually be phased. So person number one, if you're stressing over losing person number two, understand person number two is not stressing the loss of you. Person number two might be rooting for you to condense your healing into a very small amount of time by putting you through an exceptional amount of pain or frustration in the moment. But ultimately, those choices are up to you. Like, they're giving you a chance to opt out of what is essentially long, drawn-out karma. But time is ticking on this, especially around eclipse season. We're talking potentially like new moon and Taurus type energy, November energy. There might be something going on around with Jupiter and Pisces around that time too, to be completely fair. I have to go back and look at the charts. There's a lot going on by the end of the year. Once the end of the year passes and I think we're in the new year, I think there's going to be new opportunity or new lessons at play. I think that whatever opportunity person number one has with the crone will absolutely be lost by the time the new year hits. That clock will have ticked to midnight type thing. So what is going on? Insight, please, Spirit, into the reality or world of person number two. What is going on and or manifesting in the reality of person number two? What is going on with that? Insights, please. The Chariot. This person moves fast. The Chariot is a movement card and sometimes literally a moving of the home card. Two of Cups, soulmate energy. It's also Venus and Cancer energy. So this is someone who has learned to self-nurture. They could have strong Cancerian energy. Four of Pentacles, someone with earthly power. Right? This is the Lord of the Triumph of Light. The Lord of Love, and the Lord of Earthly Power. Okay, this is the top three cards describing not just this person, but the energy they manifest in their reality, right? And they can't manifest it if they aren't actually embodying that energy. So this person is a light, a victory of the light, right? We're talking highest elevation for the earthly world in which we're in. someone who is essentially the epitome of soulmate or partner, especially with the Lover's card and the Two of Cups out here now. And someone who is stable. With the Lord of Earthly Power, the Four of Pentacles is about material stability. This is someone who can create stability with whatever is being handed to them, even if there's a lot of movement. More insight, please. This person might be planning to move home or looking into moving home or being offered a chance to live with someone else. Lord of Shortened Force. Priestess of the Silver Star. Lord of Abandoned Success. That Eight of Cups comes back out. This person already knows. And the Princess of Pentacles, the Echoing Hill. So they have mirrored cards with person number one, but theirs are upright, where this was reversed for person number one. This is upright for them. This person creates and or seizes opportunity. They understand the ripple, and so therefore they abandon it because they intuitively know it's the same. It's the same energy. They read it very quickly. They read it very quickly. And unfortunately, with person number two, they may have a hard time leaving someone trapped in their own mirror. Like, because of misalignment, it might seriously hurt person number two, knowing, because it's underneath the Chariot card with the High Priestess. They might have a really hard time moving forward, knowing that someone opted to stay stuck. They might have a hard time or sensing a feeling of responsibility to help someone who is not prepared to help themselves. They might actually struggle with that, person number two. Feeling like they have to move on too quickly before they get a real chance to help the way they want to. But I think this person's just pulled. I think this person's just pulled by experience. With the Two of Cups and the High Priestess and the Eight of Cups, they already intuitively know what soulmates that cross their path they need to move forward from. Especially if they do self-nurture and they're not willing to deal with that Saturn Pisces energy, right? You're either in soul alignment, Pisces alignment, and you're moving forward and growing with person number two, or you're not. And person number two doesn't wait around. I feel like they can't. Like, and I literally heard those words in my head. They can't. They can't wait around. It's a Saturn-bound thing. You're either growing with person number two at their pace, or you're not growing with them, moving forward with them. Person number two can't hang around. You're either making progress and helping yourself, and they're working with you in order to do that, or they're moving on, because as soon as your soul growth stops, so does the experience you have with person number two. Okay. Four of Pentacles, Eight of Cups, Princess of Pentacles. The way these cards energetically lay out, this person may have had to abandon certain things that were successes for them in order to seize other opportunities for success. So this person, when I say this person moves very quickly, right? The crone energy, that undressing of the salad energy, this crossroads energy, this person is a master of the webbed connections, right? Moving from one pathway to another pathway to another pathway. This person doesn't get stuck at a crossroads. They see the crossroads and they take it and flow, right? They see the crossroads and they take it and flow. This person does not stay stuck. This person does not stay stuck. They will move forward. Opportunity will present itself and they will seize it. Or they will literally create an opportunity to seize and leave a seed behind that's planted for whoever it is that they can't stick around for. Like, they'll plant a seed. Like, mentally in the mind, they will plant a seed that people can't forget, right? No matter how long you've known person number two, whether they've been in your life for decades or years or months or weeks or days, like person number two, if they present themselves in someone's reality and someone accepts them in, like person number, and grows with them, person number 2 will stick. But if someone just negates the opportunity, like person number 2 just moves on. Stoic, right? Stoic. They do not get emotionally overwhelmed, attached, or unstable due to their connections with others. This person may often be seen as someone who turns their back on people or abandons people, and they're cold or whatever. And the crone's like, yeah, but you chose to intensify whatever it was you chose to intensify, whether it was your blessings or your blessing in disguise. You chose to intensify your light or your shadow. You chose the acceleration. Once the crone wanders into your experience, it's up to you, the choice. Right? It's up to the person that is in their reality. It's up to them what choice is being made. The crone knows whatever choice is made is not their fault. People make their choices. People make their choices, and so they just simply plant a seed that cannot be forgotten. Right? That Princess of Pentacles, they will probably let someone know, like, this is your pattern isn't fucking healthy, or your pattern has to change, your pattern has to go, like, it's not serving your highest good, right? The crone will most likely expose that. This is your pattern, and this is what needs to shift in order for you to elevate. I think the crone is willing to work with someone who is willing to help themselves. But if someone is not willing to help themselves or take the hints and they continue to sabotage, I think the crone's out. Crone's out. Oh, sorry, another path just opened up for me. Like, this is an enchantress of magical energy. They will create a path where there was none. Like, imagine taking the magical staff that they have and just parting the trees in the woods and saying, I'm sorry, I just found another path, I gotta take it. Bye. You know, like, the crone's just out. Crone's just out. Give me some clarities for the crone, please. Insight clarities for the crone. Yeah. The Earth Mother. This is the highest card in this deck for feminine energy. This person creates. When I tell you they plant seeds, and you can either grow with them or not. This person births realities wherever they go. Like, they have the option to do that. This is a master manifester. This is a master manifester. Cannot fuck with this person. The Heart of Swords, and they are Queen of Truth. The heart is the queen. That is a queen of truth. The gaze is piercing. The Black Panther is someone who literally runs shit in the shadows. They are a queen of truth. Feminine energy all over these cards, and they are fucking wish fulfillment. Wow. 9 of Cups with the Moon and the Heart of Swords, right? That Heart of Swords with these energies. This person makes a wish upon the moon and it's granted. Literally, the moon is full in this card and it's right here. The wolf might be their guardian, a guardian spirit animal. All right, this is a person who can literally make a wish upon whatever cosmos, creator, source, energy, and this shit is granted. This shit's granted. Wish granted. What magic are you working? Okay, done. Master manifester. And if they're in your reality right now, or they were in your reality and you're person number 1 and you can't get them off your mind and it's driving you a little crazy, it's because they're literally working on your Piscean energy. They're doing soul work with you. Their experience in your life was to bring you to balance. Again, the scales, right? The Libran scales on this card here. This person, they bring balance, man. They bring balance. They may also have strong Piscean energy, significant Geminian energy, and significant Cancerian energy. Those are the major suits, the major signs for person number 2. Person number 2 came into person number 1's life for a reason. And vice versa, because knowing person number 1 may have been the catalyst to get person number 2 into their crone status, right? I'm just being super drawn to the fact that they have this white streak in the front of their hair. There's this prominent white streak. Might be a sign for some of you that you're person number 2. All right. Especially if you're female or resonate strong feminine energy and you know it. So we've definitely got himself and what is essentially herself. Let's do some guidance. Let's do some guidance. Obviously, it is for both of these people, although to be fair, I don't actually feel like person number 2 needs the guidance. So person number 1, I mean, person number 2, I already know is going to take the guidance anyway, because they're moving forward in flow and staying in alignment. But person number 2, or person number 1, if you want to catch up with person number 2, pay attention. Pay attention, all right? Wisdom only matters when applied. Action is required, okay? Wisdom only matters when applied. I can give you all of the best guidance in the world, and if you don't heed it or put action to it, then it doesn't fucking mean anything. It's not going to serve you. All right? And that's just facts. You can have all the knowledge and all the wisdom in the world, and if you don't apply it, then it's pointless. It ain't going to serve you that way. You have to take what is subconscious in the mind and the soul and make it conscious, which is bringing it into the outer experience. That requires action. Okay. What is the guidance, please? Spirit. What is the guidance, please? Grace for the grand gesture, karmic grace, and the crossroad of destiny. All right. It's almost as if person number 2 is trying to talk to you, person number 1. Like, listen, I know we're not on speaking terms, but if you need fucking guidance, I'm giving it to you. We've got crossroad cards here. All right, the grand gesture, and it's talking about karma. This is essentially what person number 2 is trying to teach person number 1 from the gate. So, all right, we've got Archangel Raphael, Ascended Master Serapis Bey, and Goddess Hecate. The crystals are malachite, clear calcite, and mica. So starting with card number 15, grace for the grand gesture. It says, we bring you the gift of grace for the grand gesture. Although there are times when even the smallest act, such as choosing to think a positive thought, is enough to transform your world, there also comes a time for a leap of faith, the grand gesture of unconditional trust that will free you from the past and empower the universe to gift you with a new future. The grand gesture is the big step, the willingness to say to the universe, I trust you and I know it is time for life as I have known it to give way for a bigger, bolder experience, and I am willing to allow you to lead me into it. You then make an offering which confirms your declaration and empowers the universe to reward the faith you have demonstrated. The offering is that of action, right? The grand gesture cannot be forced. It should not come from a place of quote unquote should or uncertainty. If it is, then you are not ready. The grand gesture must be unconditional. It must be something you offer, not for what you can get in return, although the rewards will in fact be rich, but because you are willing to offer something of yourself in service to love. When it comes from this place, the grand gesture is a trigger for divine grace to express itself in your life and in an entirely new way, surpassing all of your expectations and showering you with blessings. You know, I flashed back to what I was talking about in the beginning, where the underlying issue for person number one was an apology and the truth, right? The Ace of Swords that came out, where this truth, accepting the truth, acknowledging the truth, the transparency of it all was required. We were talking about the hands, right? And the chakras in the hands being connected to the throat chakra. They're creative centers where they need to actually do it. And partake in it. The action, right? It can't be forced in order to get person number two to return. If you do expose the truth with the intention of making person number two come back, that would not be in flow. That would be a manipulation, right? You're taking an action to create a certain result. That's manipulation, person number one. You cannot say, okay, well, if I take this action, this is going to be the result. This is what the cards told me the result is going to be. I'll get person number two back. That's manipulation. Coming from a place of unconditional love means being able to do that because it's in alignment with your truth. Because the truth is the truth. And even if person number two were to not take you back, you can't let it eat away at you. You know what I mean? You can't let it spin and fester below the surface because something like guilt is on the back of your mind. If guilt is on the back of your mind, on the back of your energy, or there's things left unsaid, if there's truths left unexposed, if there's things left unreconciled or discussed or talked about, it's only going to eat at your energy from the inside, which creates that long, drawn out, painful, karmic reality. You need to be able to come clean for your own fucking self. To be like, okay, you know, I put the truth out there in the service of love because I care about this person and myself. I don't want to eat this energy and allow it to eat away at my manifestations, right? I don't want to be eaten by this energy. So in the service of love and the highest good of all, right, myself and them, the truth is going to come out no matter what the outcome is. I just have to let the truth out and let the chips fall where they may. Whether person number two comes back in my life or not is irrelevant. The truth still has to be said. Matter of fact, if I've eaten truths in multiple dynamics with multiple people, because we were talking about the echoing hills, right? Repeating karma, which, you know, karmic grace is also coming out in the guidance spreads. This is about stopping this pattern of eating the truth and pretending like the truth isn't there. You can't make a mistake or commit a energetic sin, essentially, quote unquote, energetic sin against someone in high alignment who is legit in a vibration of unconditional love with you. You can't, you know, partake in primal desires or cheating or sexual lusty things or be a drunk. Like you can't, you know, be in alignment with toxicity and blame someone in alignment. Well, it's their fault. Like, no, it's not. Like, the truth is you were out of alignment and you took actions that were out of alignment. And essentially that misalignment is what energetically separated you and the other person, because like attracts like. And you can't stay in each other's world if you are not like each other, energetically speaking. Someone was in high alignment and someone wasn't. Universe pulled you apart. Universe pulled you apart. And person number two is in that rapid path of, hey, do you want to align? Hey, do you want to align? Hey, do you want to align? Hey, I'm up here in this energy. You want to align? Oh, no, you don't? Okay, next. Do you want to align? Oh, no, you don't. Okay, next. You know what I mean? And they're just staying in their alignment. That's why they're coming off lucky. That's why nothing seems to faze them. That's why everything kind of works out in like a weird way. You know what I mean? This requires a grand gesture. This requires you to acknowledge that the energy of your manifestation is in alignment with the energy within yourself. And if the energy within yourself is toxic, damaged, buried, negated, and denial of, like, you can't manifest what you want from that alignment. You got to really trust in truth. And whatever is meant to be is meant to be. And have faith that if someone's in alignment with you, they will be. Because if your energy is not in alignment with person number 2, they are not going to come back. This is a matter of letting manipulation go, because if person number 1 is in an alignment of manipulation and control and person number 2 is not, like, that's a vibration that's keeping them apart. If person number 1 deals with addictions and person number 2 doesn't, it's probably an energetic alignment that's keeping them apart. If one person is ego and pride and trying to control, and the other person is humble and taking it on the chin, all right, guess I gotta go, guess I gotta move, guess I gotta do this, guess I gotta shift. All right, spirit, take me where you gotta go. It's a misalignment that's keeping you apart because it's not the same. Universal law, like attracts like, it's not the same. There's a time crunch, right? In the heart chakra. We're talking malachite, green mandalas. Like, this is heart chakra shit right here. You got a time crunch? This is what the time crunch is on. The time crunch is on the grand gesture. Time crunch is on the grand gesture. And again, we got 6 and 6, right? 15 and 42, double 6s. And we got the 19, which is essentially the sun card. It's a 1. 19 is a 10, which breaks down to a 1. All right. Karmic grace. We bring you the blessing of karmic grace. There are many ways to learn and grow. Some are joyful and some more challenging. Sometimes a challenge can best be resolved through profound struggle that forces you to transform in such a way that you never go back to what has been. The struggle might have been deeply painful for the mind, body, and emotions, and yet what is gained from that experience is a multiplicity of blessings, personal power, freedom, insight, self-respect, and wisdom. These qualities then help you live a better life where that past pain need not be repeated. Blessings can at other times be gained through joyful experience. Sometimes the struggle is what will bring you the greatest spiritual progress, and sometimes a more joyful path will be how you grow best. The universe loves you with such passion that you shall never be denied what you need most and what shall help you fulfill your divine destiny. You know, this is kind of reminding me of what I was talking about with person number 2, how they went through a growth process with person number 1. They probably went through something extremely painful and said, never again. Right? Never again. It will never be repeated. This pain will never be repeated. And so there was something to be gained, right? So person number 1, whether they realize it or not, was like an angel to person number 2. They were a profound catalyst in the growth of person number 2 becoming what is essentially the crone energy, being beyond the mirror and becoming the mirror, right? And now it's like person number 2 is essentially allowing time for person number 1 to choose to catch up. It's a gift, right? This gift of karmic grace. There's ways to learn and grow. This is the choice. Do you want to grow with blessings, or do you want to grow with blessings in disguise? Do you want the pain to be fast and brutal and intense so that you can get through it quickly, or do you want it long and drawn out? Right? These are the choices that are being made. Either way, I feel like person number 1 is going to go through what is essentially the same type of pressure that person number 2 went through in order to achieve the same outcome, which is personal power, freedom, insight, self-respect, and wisdom. So that the pain of the past cannot be repeated, will not be repeated. Right? It's kind of what I was talking about when I said, you know, you have to get so disgusted with your old version because of what it manifested. Like your old behavior, your old choices, your old thought patterns, your old whatever manifested the departure of person number 2 in their elevated state. And it was so painful that you would never choose those actions again or repeat it in order to reattain an experience in balance and alignment with person number 2, right? You can't go back to the person that you were, because person number 2 isn't going to go back to the person that you were, right? Talking to person number 1. Person number 2 outgrew that version of you. They grew up, right? Spiritually, they matured and grew up. They went through what is essentially the coal under pressure and turned into a diamond. Like they were under a lot of pressure in their dynamic with you and shifted into something much more valuable. They're not going to go back to being coal. They can't. Once the coal has turned into a diamond, it can't go back to being coal. It can't. It is an irreversible change. They are not your piece of coal anymore. And they won't be. And they won't be. Right? Goddess Kate. Card number 42. It says, we bring you the empowerment of the crossroad of destiny. You are at a pivotal point on your life journey, and this may be obvious to you with a potentially life-changing decision before you. Or you may not realize the impact that an apparently insignificant choice is going to have on your future. Either way, you are at a point where you can leave the past behind and chart your course for a new adventurous chapter to begin in your life. This is not something you need to be frightened of, but it is a sign that you are progressing on your path, and the crossroad of destiny happens when you have mastered a cycle in your life and a new cycle is before you. It is an opportunity that you could best take advantage of by listening to your heart. There's a certain comfort and familiarity. The world you have been living in has some sort of boundary, some degree of predictability in certain things, people or situations you can rely upon to behave in particular ways. These familiarities can be a way you choose to feel secure, even if you know deep within that life is always evolving and so are you, and that things need to change to stay fresh, healthy, and inspired. The truth is that familiarity doesn't really create security. Your mind may like to think it does, but this is an illusion. All things change in time. That is a natural law. What you and your mind need to remember is that you can choose to feel secure even through changing circumstances that lead you towards an unknown world. That unknown world will eventually become known to you with its own boundaries and some degree of predictability and familiarity until again, change knocks at your door or kicks it down and you are facing another crossroad in your life, needing to make decisions that will affect your future. If you are feeling that you need a crossroad, a choice point to help you shift out of a habitual way of being that has become stifling for you, that you need a change to broaden your horizons or try something different, then the oracle affirms this. You can always choose to try and continue with life as it is, even though in due course it will change and you take you along with it. Or you can be the spiritual adventurer along your own untraveled path, knowing that the Divine Mother watches over you and will protect, assist, and guide you as you find your way. It is safe to trust the call to new life you feel inside. It is your destiny urging you forward into so much grace. Really. We got grace in all of these readings. The final word of Crossroad of Destiny was in fact grace as well. So we've got all of these things, and grace is all about flow. Grace is about flow, right? It's about a certain humbleness, right? It's taking things in stride with spiritual class, okay? It's spiritual class. You can't just be upset when things don't work out and throw a fucking tantrum. It's like, okay, it didn't work out. All right. Okay. Moving on, moving forward. Taking it with grace. You got to shift and change certain things. Okay, this way of being didn't work out. This mindset didn't work out. This belief system I was taught, it's not really conducive to what I want to manifest, though. Believing that certain people are just fucking people and they don't matter and someone else will replace them, well, maybe that doesn't apply to the crone. Right, person number one? Maybe the crone is not really replaceable because they're rare as fuck. They're the impossible, right? They are impossible. The undressing of a salad, they're impossible. They don't technically exist, but you cross the path of one. You cross the path, I mean, you got a swan. You got a black swan. Crossed your path. They're mesmerizing, right? Black swans are mesmerizing. You could have a whole bunch of swans swimming on a lake and they're all beautiful, but if there's a black swan in the mix, it's the only one you're looking at. That's why we call certain people black swans, because even in an entire lake filled with swans, if there's a black one, it's the only one you're looking at. You can't take your eyes off the black swan. That's the crone's energy. That's person number two's energy. And trust me, if you're looking at them like they're a black swan and they're the only person that you can't forget, everybody else is looking at them and realizing they're a black swan too. Because they're out in the world swimming on the lake, everybody else is looking at the black swan. Which is, you know, and the black swan's out there trying to pick a mate, right? Trying to pick a partner, trying to find a fellow swan to move forward with. And like, do you want to elevate? Do you want to elevate? No. Do you want to elevate? No. Do you want to elevate? No. And eventually they're going to come across another black swan and be like, you're like me. How you doing? Hey. So nice to meet your energy. We're the same, right? Or rather, does person number one want to elevate and be the black swan with person number two? Is what it comes down to. Do they want to truly morph into the power of the himself card? Do they want to morph? Do they want to elevate? They have to let go of the manipulation, right? They have to let go of the lust. They have to let go of the addictions. They have to let go of the sabotage. There's a lot that needs to be let go of, but it can click. It can. The crone works magic in the realm of impossible things, right? It can click. It can click. And all that was supposed to be drawn out can just, boop, be wiped clean. It can be wiped clean. The crone makes a wish of the universe and it manifests. Be in that energy. Be in that energy, embody that energy, right? You want to be on the crone's level, you want to elevate into their reality and align with their reality and be a part of it. Match who the fuck they are. Match who the fuck they are. Understand the mirror so much that you become it because you've grown beyond the mirror. Look at who's in your reality. And not just the words that are coming out of their mouth, but their actions. Are they constantly crying? Are they also a fucking drunk? Are they also, you know, struggling with different things in realms of addictions and lust and things like that? Like, what are they dealing with? Who's in your reality? Are they struggling with who they are? Who's in your reality? Understand the mirror. Person number one, understand the mirror of who you're around. Because I guarantee you, every single person in your reality is a mirrored facet of yourself that you need to understand. Yeah. Bring it into form. Again, these skeleton structures underneath the flesh that's visible. Right? The steps forward. This is the steps forward. This is the magic through the woods. This is the magic through the woods, the fucking path clearing, the rippling of magic, right? The triumph of light energy. Bring it into form. Card number 41. Talking about embodying person number 2's energy, right? Beautiful dreamer. You can imagine wonderful worlds of light, and you can dream up so many possibilities. Now is the time to bring those possibilities of light into the world. They need to be more than ideas. They need to live, to manifest. The world needs not only your dreams, beautiful as they are, but also your creations. This card is about applying wisdom. You can't just have all the wisdom in the fucking world and all the knowledge in the world and not apply it. People say, well, if you're wrong, apologize. Okay, well, can you apply that wisdom? If you were wrong, can you apply that wisdom and apologize? If you made a mistake, you're supposed to correct it, right? That's wisdom. If you make a mistake, correct it. Okay, well, can you apply that wisdom? Can you correct it? It requires action. This is what person number 2 does. This is what person number 1 is learning to embody, right? This energy right here. This is why person number 2 creates paths where there was none. They walk in light. They apply wisdom. That's what the crone does. It is the application of wisdom. All right. If you've been thinking about certain things, the universe loves a bold spirit. And once you take a step, it will rush towards you like an enthusiastic and chivalrous lover, opening doors, hand gently guiding at your lower back as you are moved forward. You will promptly be provided with all that is needed to take the next step. There is sacrifice inherent in translating the perfection of an idea into the limited physical world. Although something may be lost when turning a multidimensional concept of endless potential into something concrete, this oracle guides you to realize that there is much more to be gained. It's how person number 2 feels when they have to let somebody go and just plant a seed. They know they haven't chosen to reach their highest potential. They know they haven't chosen to elevate. And they got to walk forward anyway. They got to move forward. Person number 1 has to learn this. You're not going to be able to save everybody. Sometimes you got to plant a seed and go so that they can grow in their own time without stunting yours. You got to let them grow in their own time so that you're not stunting your own growth. It's a struggle that person number 2 mastered. Planting seeds and going, planting seeds and going. And it always tends to work out for them. It always tends to get a little bit better every time they do, right? Learn this. This oracle also confirms that the information you need to translate your ideas into form will be provided according to the higher wisdom of life. It may or may not happen by the traditional routes. Even if it seems unimaginable, when it is time for something to be born into form, nothing can stop it, and it will happen. It might happen in ways that surprise you and others, but it will happen. It is meant to be. If it is meant to be, it's meant to be. You are misaligned with person number 2. If you are person number 1 and you are misaligned with person number 2, then you are also aligned with other people in your vibration that are misaligned with person number 2. In order to align with person number 2, you will probably have to let go of the people in your reality that are misaligned. You have to let go of the people that are misaligned in order to recreate a vibration of alignment with what your soul is intrinsically pulling you towards. Go with the flow, right? Grace, grace, grace. Go with the flow. Be in the alignment of truth. Trust the process. Let go of whoever, whatever needs to be let go of so that you can click into path. It's like everybody else is walking through the labyrinth and the crone is just like, using their magic staff and creating a pathway straight through. Everybody's like, I don't know, do I make a left here or a right here? Do I make a left or a right? Do I go straight? And crone mentality is just like, parts the path open. What do you mean left or right? There is no left or right. There is only forward flow. You know? Crone's in like that there is no spoon mentality. So they've kind of broken the matrix, right? They're an impossible possible person. It's Trinity trying to wake up her Neo, so to speak. It's Trinity trying to wake up Neo. Remember? Remember? Neo was not the one without Trinity. In the end, and it's crazy because I was just watching someone talk about the Matrix. They were both the one. The masculine and the feminine together were the one. Trinity's trying to fucking wake up Neo. She probably knew the minute she fucking saw him. Because she fell in love with him the moment she saw him, right? Shit. I hope this reading in Divine Time helped whoever needed it. Whoever needed it whenever it crosses your path. Best of luck and love and support and light to you wherever you are. I appreciate all of the comments. I appreciate all of the likes. I appreciate anybody who shared it. I appreciate all of it. Thank you so much for being a part of my world. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Take care.